Well, yes, I actually did just finish playing pickup basketball on this sacred Thursday night. Thank you for asking. How did I play? Well, terribly, actually. I played horribly. I almost immediately pulled my shoulder, which at my age is very painful. And then my old man brittle bones started creaking a lot and a fly flew in my mouth. But that didn't stop me from putting on an absolute shooting nightmare. I went like 4 for 12 and 0 for 2 from the 3. It was bad. And also, the fly in my mouth paranoid me because I'm a hypochondriac. I couldn't stop imagining Ozzy and Drix inside of my body fighting against this fly in there. It wasn't my best showing. But can you stop talking about basketball so much, please? That's not what we're here for. Goodness gracious, you're a real chatty Cathy. What the fuck? What we're here to discuss is a really weird criminal I learned about on stream last night, and I've been thinking about him ever since. There's a case going around about a criminal in Essex who has done nothing but steal pacifiers from literal babies. Wait, what? Man, 23, charged with snatching dummies from babies in Essex. Dummies? You guys call pacifiers dummies? It just sounds like you're insulting your kid. Why not just call him a pacifier? A man will appear in court charged with snatching dummies out of the mouths of babies. What a cartoonishly evil plan. Does he at least sell them or something? Like, what's the motivation besides just making a baby cry? Josh Gilder was arrested on Monday on suspicion of theft from a person, robbery, and using threatening behavior to cause alarm and distress. This happened on 4 occasions, apparently. The serial pacifier robber, burglar. What does he do with them? Does he just take them out and run away, or does he take them out and put them back? Like, what does he do? Oh, here we go. We got some more information. All right. The story just took a really interesting twist. So according to her, he uses the dummy to soothe himself. So what he's doing, and this is a revolting thought, he is taking the pacifiers out of babies' mouths and then sucking on them himself. That is fucking gross. Holy shit. He said he would take the dummy and then go sit in a tent and use the dummy, describing the thefts as purely acquisition, so acquisitive. Goulder also admitted causing harassment, alarm, and distress to a police officer the day he was arrested. He told the officer, "If my stuff gets broken, I swear I'll kill you." He denied 3 charges of assault relating to 3 of the 5 children who he took dummies from. Still shouldn't be stealing them from babies. Bit of a hot take there from me, but, I'll say it with my chest. Stealing from a baby is... well, that's pretty low. I'm just gonna say, he's a jerk. He's a bit of a jerk. When police were initially looking for this guy, they released this photo hoping that someone recognized him, when it's just a photo of someone's back with a hoodie on. But I guess it worked out in the end because they did apprehend him. He was taking candy from literal babies, pretty much, and they eventually did arrest him for it. But I really like the idea that someone sees this and they're like, "Oh my god, that hoodie! Wait a minute, that frame! I know exactly who that is! That's my buddy Josh!" And who knows, maybe that's exactly how it happened. But yeah, they did apprehend him, and the whole story is very baffling. That's a odd crime, for sure. But I want to give you a little bonus crime that I learned about on stream last night. Actually, you know what? I'll give you 2, because we went down a little bit of a rabbit hole with weird crimes. So this next one is about a serial mannequin pisser who's still on the loose, so beware of any mannequins. They might be marked with urine somewhere out there. So just sleep with one eye open. I work at Target, and one day we found that somebody had peed on a mannequin. Turns out he'd been hitting other Targets in Minnesota and peeing on mannequins. The guy has not yet been caught. Don't worry, I'm on the case. I just looked up urinating on mannequins, and the first thing that came up was a Wikipedia page called Mannequin Piss. Is this him? Does he have his own Wikipedia page? And here's a urinating mannequin, which is an art piece. I think I found the culprit for your phantom pisser that keeps coming in and urinating on the mannequins. I think it's this guy. Got him. And this next criminal is not some unknown menace. This is actually a very well-known criminal. Burger King. And the crime, horrible food. But this time around, what they were guilty of is a promotional marketing campaign that led to the death of a few children, infants, during their Pokemon promotion of 1999. I don't know how many of you knew this, but I was completely unaware that this ever happened, so I learned about it on stream last night, and I thought this was a really weird thing that happened back then that I haven't really heard too many people talk about. Have you heard about the Pokemon ball toy that killed a bunch of kids? What? Reflecting on the Burger King Pokemon disaster of 1999. What? I've never heard of this. Some of the most iconic toys of the 90s showed up on greasy trays across the country, but perhaps the biggest frenzy arrived with a series of Pokemon collectibles from Burger King at the turn of the millennium. Pokemania hit a fever pitch in 1999, and the frenzy had a body count. Time magazine helped introduce the Japanese imported phenomenon known as Pokemon to the mainstream. Okay. At the very center of their page, a space normally occupied by heads of state, religious leaders, and business magnates, Poliwhirl leaped out at the reader. I actually vaguely remember this cover. While parents, journalists, and psychologists were mulling the attitudinal impacts of the fad, a far more banal Poke danger was emerging. On December 11th, 1999, 13-month-old Kira suffocated to death in Northern California. A Pokemon toy from a Burger King kids meal was believed to be the cause. The company had begun a massive Pokemon promotion in connection with the Pokemon the First movie, which debuted on November 10th. The 56-day promotion, one of the largest in history, was intended to run from early November to end of December. The kids' meal prize during that 2-month period was one of 57 different Pokemon toys. Making the promotion all the more exciting was the fact that the toys were encapsulated within the immediately familiar red and white orb of a Pokeball. Burger King had plans to distribute over 25 million toys in this clever format for free with any kids' meal purchased.
Enjoy.
She's even in body armor. They knew this was dangerous. That's a huge promo. Did they have all 151? How? Damn, Burger King used to go hard. As far as Kira's death was concerned, the toy itself, as it turned out, wasn't the problem. She died after one half of the plastic Pokeball, measuring just under 3 inches in diameter, became attached to her face. She had somehow gotten it stuck over her nose and mouth, forming an airtight seal. Holy shit. Her mother took a shower for about 20 minutes, and when she emerged, her daughter was dead. Spokesperson for Equity Marketing, the toy maker that had partnered with Burger King, would later state that the toy meets or exceeds all federal safety guidelines, and Charles Nicholas, a spokesperson for Burger King, argued it was not concluded that the ball was the cause. I mean, it seems like a completely freak incident, but I mean, the ball was literally the cause. But it's not the design's fault, I don't think, right? Like that's truly a freak thing. From the sound of it. 10 days later, on December 23rd, it happened again. An 18-month-old girl in Kansas almost suffocated. By the time her father pried the half of a Pokeball from her face, the girl's lips had turned blue. When we found out about the first death, there was a realization that this could be a huge national concern. This was the worst-case scenario. A major fast food chain, not just a toy store, distributing these toys by the millions. How is it happening, though? It doesn't look like that'd be a really easy situation to find yourself in. And also, who's letting 13-month-old and 18-month-old babies eat Burger King alone? Also, what do they eat from Burger King? Aren't you still basically on mush? Maybe not at 18 months, but 13 months? When do you stop having, mush? When's the cutoff period? Why is every major fast food controversy about Burger King? Because Burger King it's actually a scourge. Burger King needs to just be shut down. They make the worst fucking food imaginable. Burger King have come around now, but we did have to push them. Oh, they have a recall commercial. It was such a different time back then. They had to make another advertisement in order to advertise the recall. Nowadays, they'll just make a tweet, be like, hey, we're sorry we killed some kids. What more is there to say? We're sorry. Like every game dev that comes out right now and they release a pile of shit. January 25th, 2000, a month after the recall began, 4-month-old Zachary Jones was found dead in his crib in Indianapolis, Indiana. He too had been suffocated by a Pokeball. It's hard to believe that you go to get the kids something to eat, you bring home a lethal toy. How is a 4-month-old eating Burger King and unmonitored by their parents? Now, of course, there clearly is something wrong with the design here, I think. Maybe the pictures aren't doing it justice for what the Pokeball actually looks like. But what the fuck? This is a 4-month-old with Burger King? And no supervision? Holy shit, that's a recipe for disaster, even if it wasn't Burger King lethal Pokeballs. Are they just clipping it around their nose like a pin? So from the way it describes it, it seems like what was happening is the baby would be playing with the Pokeball and the half would get caught on its face, like a fighter pilot, basically, with their mask. And it created an airtight seal that suffocated them. Yes, I know the quality of the webcam is less than stellar. It looks like the footage from The Dark Knight when the Joker is like selfieing himself as he's torturing a guy. I know it doesn't look great. It's highly pixelated, looking like PlayStation 1 graphics, Charles here, but it is what it is. It's the only webcam that I have, and I really want to talk about something since I can't sleep, which has become all too common. It's extremely late right now. It's 3 a.m. I gotta get up at 7 a.m. and I didn't sleep last night and I'm not sleeping tonight. Insomnia is absolutely beating my cheeks in and it's making me mad. But the only thing that makes me more upset than not being able to sleep is porch pirates. And that's what we're here to talk about. Since I was tossing and turning, having nothing but the most inopportune moments for deep existential thoughts, which kept me awake, I decided I'd go on the cyberspace to see if there's any kind of lullabies that could put me to sleep. You know, maybe Jigglypuff could sing me a song or something. But instead, all I found were two very peculiar cases of porch pirates stealing some packages that I just think are really interesting, so let's talk about them. You know that trope that exists in anime and other fiction where the villain is super smart with like the most creative and most galaxy brain scheme imaginable? Yeah, it doesn't usually happen in the real world. It's usually just a bunch of fucking brain-dead morons that have the dumbest ideas and then commit a crime. But not in this case. We finally have a rare unicorn here with a turbo genius criminal. So, they wanted to steal a package, but they didn't want their identity to be compromised because most people have Ring doorbells or something similar in this day and age. So, how do you get around this? They don't have the mask technology that Mission Impossible does or anything, so they had to get creative. It seems like they found a nearby traffic cone and hid inside of it, which does a great job of concealing not only their face, but their whole body. This could be a full-grown man, full-grown woman, or a child. Well, there's no telling. The only clues we have to go on are the barefoot pitter-patter from the door to the driveway. That's it. That's not a whole lot of clues. You'd have to get the forensics team out there and start like swabbing the concrete to see if you can get some kind of like DNA off it, maybe? I have no idea. So they might actually get away with this one. I do have a working theory, though. I think the culprit here is someone that is familiar with the family. I think it's a family friend, or maybe even a nearby neighbor. They knew they could be easily identified by the homeowner, which is why they took such extreme measures here. That, or it's staged. This could just be faked. This could be just a prank, like a staged video for the sake of it going viral, which it absolutely did. But I like to pretend and suspend disbelief here. I like to think that this was a real instance of a porch pirate coming up with a really creative solution. But anyway, there's no further updates that I can find on this story, so this menace is still at large. Sleep in fear. Or in my case, don't sleep at all, because insomnia is a real bitch. But also, if there's any traffic cones nearby, you might want to hide them somewhere so that way they can't be utilized like this and steal your packages. Now, while this one could be faked, the next one is not, because they've been caught. Though they did have an equally creative idea on how to get away with stealing packages. I'm kidding, it's actually a really fucking stupid idea. I'll just go ahead and show you the news segment on it.
Dash driver arrested. Police say she was caught on camera instead of taking. Take a look here. Police say Juliana Sagaram stole a package, as you see right there, from a Manhasset home last month. Video shows a woman walking up to the doorstep on Highland Terrace holding a brown paper bag there, and police telling us it was a Chipotle order she was supposed to deliver nearby. Neighbors say this is unbelievable.
So Juliana's plan was simple and also not super effective because she didn't get away with it. There were a lot of holes in this scheme. It wasn't exactly a bulletproof plan. While doing food delivery, she decided to take this package here, and I guess her whole idea was if she's in the middle of a food delivery, no one would think twice about her going up to the front of a house, and then she could make a getaway with the package without anyone stopping her. So it seems the whole idea was to avoid suspicion by having a good cover story. No, I'm not here to steal packages. I'm here to deliver food. You're out of order. You lost your marbles. But she failed to account for modern technology, where most people have like Ring doorbells now or anything that records video outside their home, because of the rising problem of porch pirates. So it didn't do anything to prevent the authorities from seeing who she was. And I guess really she just wanted to make sure no one would like interfere with her plan. But I don't know how common that is. Like, I don't feel like there's a ton of people that recognize when a porch pirate is striking, because they usually run up, grab it, and run away. There's not a whole lot of time for someone to fucking swoop in and stop them, unless, of course, she's doing this in Gotham City and Batman happened to be nearby in the neighborhood. Like, I just don't think that is really commonplace. So overall, Buddy with the traffic cone over his head actually had a more effective strategy than she did. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about these because they were super silly. They both came up with pretty creative plans on how to be a scumbag, and one of them so far has got away with it. The other one is at least facing charges, so that's good that she's, been caught. And I guess we'll see if the traffic cone supervillain pops out of hiding at some point again in the future. But anyway, that's about it. So yeah. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. I saw this. Hold on, let me pull it up. So we have a follow-up to the Burger King story. The Burger King manager who was serving people French fries from a trash can has been arrested. They got her. Rightfully so. Food tampering is serious, man. That shit is actually, like, horrifying. You remember there was that viral trend of insufferable assholes licking ice cream at supermarkets and then just putting it back? Or, like, spitting into, like, drinks and then putting them back on the shelf? And they all faced, like, potentially serious charges. It's because food tampering is such an important thing to crack down on. And now she's getting slapped for serving trash can French fries, which is so weird. Like, French fries, like, it's not like there was any shortage of them. It's not like she was saving money by serving French fries out of the dumpster. But I love the trash can seasoning. Yeah, someone in chat made a great point, because when I first read this story, I said, like, how could you even tell it's Burger King? Haha, everything's fucking terrible there. It's all trash. There's no way you'd even know. And one guy in chat was like, well, that's how they knew it, because it tasted better, so they were suspicious. And it turns out they were from the trash can. It's a baffling crime. And hopefully she faces serious repercussions. Food tampering is serious. Do you guys know the history of why food tampering is so cracked down on? I don't even know why I'm asking this like I'm in some kind of fucking classroom setting. I'll just tell you. It's because there was a case a long time ago, I don't remember when. There was a case of some absolute menace, some fiend, started tampering with, I think it was Tylenol, and they poisoned it. And just poisoned a bunch of Tylenol across a bunch of different areas, and they never caught the person. And it was a huge problem because it led to deaths. And they couldn't trace anything because there was nothing tamper-proof. They just laced Tylenol and fucking killed them with cyanide. So they really busted down on all of it, which is why food tampering carries such a big possible sentence. It was cyanide, right? That they laced the Tylenol with? I'm almost positive. There were 7 deaths, and it was in October, or from September to October of 1982. And yes, it was laced with potassium cyanide. Did they ever find out who it was? No. There's a whole Wikipedia on it, though. The Chicago Tylenol murders. But because it was, like, widespread, they couldn't really track down who it was reliably. It was just, it's too hard. The trash can fries were an accident and she'll get off. Were they? I've seen conflicting reports on that. I haven't read this story from this source yet. Let's see. I don't think it was an accident. You don't accidentally serve someone dumpster fries. Let's see. Officers allege that Jamie Major, the location's assistant manager, put the discarded fries in the tray and added freshly cooked ones on top. The incident allegedly happened the same day as the previous argument for disturbance on July 9th. When they got there, they found two women identified as customers arguing with staff, and they arrested the women, charging them with disorderly conduct. 2 days later, the department received a complaint that the fries had been tossed in the trash. Fries that had been tossed in the trash were being served to customers. They'd been put in the garbage by the person who filed the complaint with the police. Major was arrested and is facing charges of malicious tampering with human food. She was being held on $20,000 bond, according to the Union County Detention Center. They received a statement from Burger King that said, "These allegations do not align with the brand's commitment to quality food and service and creating an exceptional guest experience. You have failed on all of these. You have failed on actually every single one of these fronts, Burger King. The franchisee of this restaurant is cooperating with local authorities and will take appropriate action based on the findings. As this remains an ongoing investigation, we are unable to share additional details at this time." Imagine going to jail for fries. She won't be alone. What's crazy is, within the last year, she will not be the only incarcerated criminal off of French fries. There was a guy wanted for murder. I think it was murder. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive it was murder. He had a warrant out for his arrest, and he was served cold French fries, and he was so offended at getting served cold French fries, he called the police. When the police arrived at the scene, they ran his details, found out he had a warrant out for his arrest, and then he was like, "Oh shit, this was a bad idea," and he ran away. The police tased him and took him into custody. All because he self-reported over cold French fries. I'm gonna double check. I think it was murder. I think he was wanted for murder. which is crazy. Like, he got away with murder and then it's like, cold fries? Nope. We've got to get the police down here ASAP. This is unforgivable. Yep, murder suspect. Yep. That was August of last year. The footage of it is kind of crazy too. Not that anything wild happens, he runs away and gets tased, but like, he looks so befuddled that all of a sudden the whole situation turned on him. He really thought he was in the right over those cold French fries. Man, every single one of these is requiring ad block. They're really trying to cash in off this story here. They weren't even cold, actually. I tried the fries, they were lukewarm. Room temperature fries. They weren't even like ice cold. He wanted that shit piping hot. He couldn't have just asked for a warm batch. I don't know. Apparently they got into a little argument or something. Owner was cussing at him, and I guess it got out of hand. Or the trash can fries at least warm? Might get a few years off her sentence. Good question. This article didn't say the temperature of the fries, but it's Burger King, so I think we can rest assured that not only were they unsalted, but they were also probably cold. We'll have to read the case files when they're released. How do you tell trash fries from normal fries at BK, though? You don't. They must have seen it. And I believe it was actually called in by somebody who watched her do it. So you had to visually see it. You'd never taste the difference at BK. The worst crime ever. It's definitely got to be up there. What is the minimum sentence for malicious food tampering? Hold on, I'm going to see. Okay, maximum is 10 years for tampering with consumer products. That's assuming there was no injuries. Which, I mean, you could maybe make a case for psychological damage knowing you ate from the Burger King trash can. Eating from a trash can's bad. Eating from a Burger King trash can, that's like biting into like raw plutonium. You're really rolling the dice. That's got to be the most radioactive fucking trash can ever. The dumpster behind Burger King, good lord. Filled with fucking gamma radiation. Though in Texas it could be up to 20, but this wasn't in Texas. If you check the same news site, they have an article titled "Manager, Assistant Manager Arrested During Operation Special Toppings." Is this how they caught her? They had to have like a whole sting operation? They had like a van with a satellite dish parked outside the local Burger King here? Fucking binoculars out there with like a stakeout waiting? Operation Special Toppings nabs 2 pizza parlor employees. Oh, wow. How deep does it go? Oh, accused of using restaurant to make drug deals. That's so much different than just serving trash can fries. This is not the same. Would you ever do a fast food breakfast tier list? Man, that's fucking crazy. We did that last week. The video will be up either tomorrow or the next day. We hear about the Florida woman who got her entire driveway stolen. How does that work? Single mother's future in jeopardy after thief steals driveway. How? No way. Now playing above, it's this right here. This is where they put the news segment in the tiniest box on the screen.
And now our Nick Papantonis is looking into the situation.
Well, I'm going to speculate on how they might have done this crime. So they obviously needed some kind of heavy industrial machinery, right? And seeing the recent rise in forklift-related crimes, my guess is somehow they used a forklift, got the tongs under the driveway, and peeled up each individual piece of pavement. And then just stacked it and drove it away. That's my guess. I think a forklift was the culprit. Well, not like a sentient forklift, but like that was the tool used by the culprit.
Ready for Christmas.
Of all the things that you worried about getting stolen, did you think the driveway was one of them?
No, not
What
at
kind of fucking question is that? Hey, out of all the possible things that could have been stolen from your house, did you ever think it'd be your driveway? Like, fucking obviously not. That's not a thought any sane person would ever have. Like, you can't exactly padlock your driveway. No one's gonna ever consider that the Grinch might come through and just take the whole pavement up. Why even ask that question? It's super stupid.
One told Brochu a Tampa area man identified
Oh,
as
Tampa.
Andre asked
Let's
them
go.
to price out a replacement.
Again.
1 week later, this
let's
footage
go.
from Brochu's doorbell camera captured a bulldozer tearing out the concrete and hauling it away.
Jesus
Utter
Christ.
shock. I've never seen this before.
0 for 1 on guesses. It was a bulldozer, not a forklift.
And believes Brochu is the victim of a scam. But neither woman knows what
Such a
scam
weird,
is.
yeah, it's a
Had
weird
multiple People
scam.
come forward saying that they've seen things like this happen, whether it be driveways, roofs, painting, even outside the exterior. So it happens more often than we actually see it.
Deputies have launched a
I just don't
criminal
believe that. Why would this happen often? What do they get out of it? I mean, I guess the cat's probably happy about it. They like dirt. But what is the scam? So you have their driveway now. Then what? How do you get money out of it? Do you hold it for ransom? Because even they're saying they don't exactly know what the goal is with it. Can't have shit in Florida, they stole the damn driveway. True. So the house value goes down. I guess, but are they making an offer on the property? Because if not, you get nothing out of it other than just fucking with them. So I guess it could just be evil for the sake of being evil. What a
Orange County. Nick
crazy
Papantonis,
heist.
WMTV tonight. What a bizarre story.
Couldn't agree more there. What a bizarre story indeed. Stealing a whole fucking driveway for no reason. This is some shit out of Ed, Edd n Eddy. Like, actually cartoon logic. Like, stealing a driveway is actually something out of Cartoon Network. The only thing that makes sense is what the chatter said, driving the property value down to make an offer on the house. But it doesn't seem like that's what they're doing, so it really feels completely worthless, and they just stole a driveway just because they had the equipment to do so. There's a guy in Detroit who had his whole porch stolen. Recently? Detroit man says his porch was stolen. This was in 2018. Oh my god. This was in 2018. What the fuck? That is interesting. Oh, wait, it's not real. The first update here. I did it all out of laughs to entertain social media. So this one's fake, but the stealing driveway one's not. Did you see that the Pistons finally won a game? Did I see that the Pistons finally won a game? You bet your sweet bippy I did. I'm a little upset because I predicted they would beat the Celtics, and they almost did. The best meme I saw about it is the Pistons miraculously overcame a 21-point lead in order to lose in the end to the Celtics. And I predicted they would beat them. And they lost. So then I was totally resigned to just let the Pistons lose 60 straight. And then they come back today and they fucking win. It actually made me mad because I could have looked like a prophet. I actually would have looked like a legitimate, like what are they called? Soothsayer? To get that prediction right would have been big for me. But I got it wrong. They won today though. So they snapped the 28-game losing streak. I was reading some of the memes here. I didn't watch the game, I just saw that they posted this. And usually when they post final, it means the Pistons lost in another triumphant fashion. But they actually won, and I was looking at some of the memes. So, Winghouse said every time the Pistons win a game, it's 5 free wings. And that's been a big joke because the Pistons lost for 3 months now, or 2 months, whatever. So it's just been this meme about how everyone's starving, like, oh, no wings, Wingstop got the easiest advertisement ever because they don't have to give away wings because the Pistons can't win. So now I've just been going through the memes here.
Sure hungry. Rev up those fryers, because I am sure hungry.
It's been pretty fire, actually. All they need to do is win 50 games in a row to make the playoffs. That's what I'm predicting. I think now's the time. They got 28 games worth of losses, and as the old adage goes, you learn more from failure than you do success. So they've got tons of invaluable knowledge now. I think they win 50 straight. What does your new tattoo mean? Absolutely nothing. I just really like the design. This time around, I told myself this next tattoo I was getting was going to have meaning, so I once again got a meaningless tattoo. But dagnabbit, I think it looks nice. It's not done yet. I still have to go back, but that's basically the bones of it. It's a balloons map. Yeah, kinda. Once it's finished, it'll be less balloons-esque, but I really like it. I really like how it's coming out. You did this, they could have gotten rid of the 76ers all-time loss record, now they tied it, fuck you. Hey man, I got it wrong. I said they were winning last game. So it's not my fault. Surprisingly, this isn't new. Look up entire driveway stolen in Central Florida. Happened in 2012. This isn't the first driveway being stolen? Yeah, well, you're right. This also happened in Florida too. Man, Florida thieves love driveways. A woman in Reddick, Florida didn't even have to open her front door to realize she had been robbed. That's because thieves stole her driveway. Well, the brick pavers that made up the driveway. Is there footage of it? No. The victim arrived home around 6 p.m. on Tuesday and felt a large bump as she attempted to turn into where her driveway had once been. She got out and realized it was gone. Apparently neighbors didn't think anything of it because construction workers had recently built a barn elsewhere on her property, so no one stopped the thieves as they took the bricks. Thoughts on Mickey Mouse becoming public domain? Oh, yeah. That happens on January 1st. Mickey Mouse is hitting the public domain. Well, Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse. Which is fine. We're going to use him in the MWL, mark my words. We'll have him fight against other public domain property like Winnie the Pooh. Right around the same time as Epstein's List. I wonder what Steamboat Willie was up to. Oh, interesting correlation. So I can promote my own movies with a whistling mouse. I guess. You can use Winnie the Pooh right now if you want. There's a lot of public domain property that you probably don't realize is public domain. Though I think most people know Winnie the Pooh is because of the god-awful horror movie. Did you hear about that devil comet that's going to explode in the next few days before it reaches Earth? We've got to stop naming like comets and asteroids like this. God of Chaos, now the devil comet. Devil comet bigger than Mount Everest racing towards Earth and is set to explode soon. These headlines, brother, please. This isn't Mass Effect. This isn't like the Reapers are coming, please. The Devil Comet, officially known as 12P, what a name, Near Automata shit, is currently making its way towards Earth and is anticipated to undergo a significant eruption soon. This comet, which is nearly 3 times the size of Mount Everest, is classified as a cryovolcano, which means it erupts due to the buildup and ignition of gas and ice, much like a frozen soda can. That is so badass. The comet is notably large with a diameter of 18.6 miles. That is wild. It's a very short period comet, completing an orbit around the sun approximately every 71 years. A pattern to the well-known Halley's Comet. Comets like this with an orbital period of less than 200 years are categorized as short period. Comet 12P Pons-Brooks is not a recent discovery. Its existence has been acknowledged since 1812, when it was first observed by comet hunter Jean-Louis Pons, who noted it at a fourth magnitude brightness. However, initial observations were not detailed enough to accurately forecast its future appearances. We never caught the Zodiac Killer nor D.B. Cooper, but by golly, I tell you what, you know who we did catch? The Cucumber Butthole Blaster. And I'd say that's good enough. For 7 months, Washington, D.C. citizens have slept in fear, paralyzed with anxiety over the thought that he was out there. Nothing was safe. And for 7 months, we didn't know if he'd ever actually be brought to justice, thrown in the slammer for his degenerate actions with a cucumber. I made a video 7 months ago covering the genesis of this villain. He was captured on camera going up to this car after pulling a cucumber from his lunchbox. He walked over with the big iron on his hip. He then grabbed the cucumber, slapped it into the grill of the car, and then fucked his ass with it. He rode it like a scooter. Well, that is if you ride scooters sitting down, I guess. He rode it like he was galloping on a horse, but it was a cucumber blowing out his fucking guts. Anyway, we have the chilling video camera footage of the event. I won't curse you with that again. I'm not trying to make this like the VHS tape from The Ring where you get your butt fucked in 7 days by a cucumber or something, just having watched this degenerate act. But basically, he put it in the grill of the car. He did that, captured on camera. It also happened to be like right next to a school. The whole thing just unbelievably disgusting. Turns out he has a history of doing sex acts like that around the area. This was the only cucumber one that's been reported. This is not what the VeggieTales died for, I'll tell you that much. But he has very extensive history with doing sex acts in public with things like handrails and rakes. And today, he's finally been sentenced.
Being sexually explicit with a cucumber in the middle of the day around the corner from a DC high school.
He was sentenced today for a string of sex acts near several families' homes.
What started as a search for a man pleasuring himself in public with a cucumber, now ending with a jail sentence for not one, but a string of alleged sex acts from late July into early September last year.
Now, in the first footage, the initial tapes that captured the cucumber incident where he slapped it in the car's grill, turning it into a unicorn and then cleaning his colon out with it, well, it wasn't just that. He then, after finishing with the car, grabbed the cucumber again and then just bent over and just full-blown, like he was playing a violin with the cucumber, but in his ass. And he did that a few times in and out, and then threw the cucumber back in the lunchbox and then went about his day. I speculated that he may have been out going to do it somewhere else, too. Like, it looked like the director's cut, where it would be like the cucumber butthole blaster will return at the end of, the fucking Thunderbolts movie. So, it was just... I had a theory that this wasn't a one-time thing. Turns out, I was correct. I think most people speculated that, though, by the way. It wasn't like a crazy call for me here. He has a history of doing this. You saw a couple of photos there where he's, riding the handrails, and he was apparently inserting, the end of handrails up his butt.
Mere yards down the street where 31-year-old Anthony Hines II was caught on camera in broad daylight with the vegetable he just pulled from a lunchbox. Court documents show a string of similar incidents, mostly involving handrails. And one, police explicitly said, is shaped like a pine cone. Another handrail, allegedly hit on 2 occasions, is now wrapped with what looks like sandpaper.
Honestly, just put that handrail out of its misery. Just send it to the fucking grave. It doesn't want to live anymore, I'll tell you that much. The sandpaper's only going to do so much. Just take it down, destroy it. It's ruined. It's completely ruined. This weirdo just cruising around Washington, D.C. on freaky mode. Anytime he sees a handrail, he just gets a boner. Also, when he was doing all of these things, did he go to completion till he ejaculated? It's already a huge health hazard, just putting his bare anus on all of these handrails and handles of rakes. I feel like that's a pretty serious thing. There's probably people that use those handrails and maybe got sick fucking pink eye or something, cholera, I have no idea, E. coli. It feels like a pretty big deal to me. But his sentencing was very light. I'll spoil the surprise. He got sentenced to 360 days in jail, but he's only going to be serving 6 months and then some probation. I think that's less than a slap on the wrist. He's going to do it again. For 6 months, He will probably, when he gets out, I would imagine the next day, park your cars in the garage or hide them under some trees somewhere, anywhere out of sight, because there is going to be a rampage with this man and every vegetable he can find at the supermarket. He will be going everywhere, putting everything in his butt across all of Washington, D.C. Mark my words. Like, that is not nearly punishment enough for this, I think.
Footage in one homeowner's backyard reportedly caught Hines using the handle of a garden rake in a sex act.
Public or private, anywhere in your backyard, man, it's not appropriate, I don't think.
Homeowners impacted told me they're relieved for a bookend to the bizarre case, including one whose SUV was targeted with the cucumber, saying she's grateful for the police work, adding, quote, "I'm thankful to the community for helping crack the case of the vegetable voyeur and look forward to enjoying farmers market season in peace."
Yeah, it is nice he was arrested and will be going to jail, but it's not for that long. You can enjoy the farmers market for approximately 6 months. This dude, upon being released, I would wager a guess will probably walk down the steps, take down his britches, and immediately start flossing his ass crack with the handrail outside the jailhouse. That would be my guess. Like, this is definitely someone who is just out of control. He has a history of doing this with handrails, the fucking handle of a garden rake, a cucumber on some stranger's car right next to a school. Like, come on.
And just today, Hines was sentenced for 5 counts of lewd, indecent, or obscene acts, 4 counts related to accessing private property when he wasn't supposed to be there. He did plead guilty and was sentenced to 360 days in jail, but will serve 6 months according to the terms after pleading guilty, and an additional 2 years of probation.
I can't help but just think about that sandpaper handrail one more time real quick. Was that like a preventative measure that they put there? Like, they wrapped it in sandpaper to try and discourage copycat criminals from fucking themselves on it? Or did he, the cucumber butthole blaster, wrap it in the sandpaper for his pleasure? And then the question becomes, how did he not just leave it covered in blood? Like, if he wrapped in sandpaper and then just started, bouncing on it crazy style, how did he not rub all the skin off of his sphincter? So to me, it feels like it was put there after the fact, and I don't see how that does anything at all. It just feels, that whole tidbit of lore there with that handrail post asshole incident is just a little confusing to me, but maybe I'm just not thinking about it properly and can't fully grasp the real intention behind the sandpaper. I think it's also worth mentioning, these are the only cases we know of. There's a chance that every handrail in Washington, D.C. has faced the wrath of this man's asshole. Like, we can't rule out that possibility. This is only what he's been caught with here on these handrails, and that garden rake, and that cucumber on that car. But it could have been spanning years. Only God has that information. We can't possibly seek to understand how long he's been doing this, or how many handrails have been compromised out there. Stay safe, Washington, D.C. Yes, he may be going to jail, but the damage that his anus has done, well, there's no telling the extent. Anyway, I just want to kind of give you the update here on this story. Pretty wacky, wild, and disgusting one, huh? That's really about it. See ya. You know that wild feeling where you take notice of something and then you start seeing it everywhere soon after? For example, you're driving around on the road and your little peepers catch a glimpse of a unique blue car and you're like, man, that's a really interesting color for a car. I don't see that very often anymore. And then you'll drive like a block up the road and then all of a sudden there's like 8 blue cars that come out of nowhere, it seems, and it's like, damn, now I'm trapped in an alternate dimension where there's only blue cars. How did this happen? I just saw one for the first time in a long time, a block ago. There's actually a word for that. It's called the frequency illusion, or the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. I think that's how you pronounce it. I may have absolutely butchered it, I couldn't tell you. But basically what it is a cognitive bias where when you notice something for the first time, you start to notice it a lot thereafter. It kind of just puts that in your noodle and you become more perceptive and aware of it, and it makes it seem like all of a sudden it's more common than it is. I can still remember the first time I remember this happening to me. I was playing Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and I saw a really rare vehicle that I don't think I'd ever seen before, so I did everything in my power to acquire it, and I finally do through blood, sweat, tears, elbow grease, and my little child brain was blown by how cool I felt with this new vehicle. And then as I'm driving away, there's like 8 more of those bitches driving in the opposite direction, and I was stunned. Now, maybe it was a game mechanic I never even bothered to check, but I think more likely than not, it was just an example of this frequency illusion. Point is, the reason I'm mentioning this, I just made a video covering that forklift ATM heist from like 2 days ago, and now, all of a sudden, I've been inundated with stories that are popping up about, like, heavy machinery robberies, and I feel like this just has to be another example of the frequency illusion, because there's no way that this is a very common crime. There is no way that there's some kind of mind plague that's infecting people's brains, making them believe that stealing excavators, forklifts, front-end loaders, garbage trucks, in order to commit crimes with them is a good idea that will somehow work. Like, there's just no way that it's that common. It has to be, I'm more perceptive of it now. But to argue against myself, I don't think there ever would have been a time where my eyes would just glaze past a headline that talks about a guy stealing a front-end loader and stealing motorcycles with a fucking front-end loader. Like, I feel like I would have always been aware of that. So maybe this is just becoming like the new crime meta. Just stealing, like, machinery you'd find at some kind of mining operation and using that to commit crime across the city with? I don't know. But this shit is wacky. Let me go ahead and show you this front-end loader robbery and subsequent low-speed pursuit. This is actually some wild work out of GTA right now. I feel like you could have accomplished the same thing with just a brick. Like, I don't even think you needed to steal the front-end loader, to be honest. Like, it was probably a lot more difficult to find this vehicle than it would be to just find, like, a big rock. Oh, wait. I see. Now I see what the plan was. Wait, this guy's galaxy brain. This is an incredible scheme. He got the Christmas presents. I mean, he's kind of busting up the bikes on the way home here. He's not doing a great job of securing the package.
Put it down, mate. He is not stopping. He is not stopping.
I was legitimately stunned by the depth of this plan having more layers to it than just take big vehicle, crash into building, and then go in and take the goodies and call it a night. This guy pre-planned this for what I imagine must have been months. He not only found a front-end loader that was prime for the pickin', but then he also went into the building with ratchet straps, I guess, and put them together as if it was like fucking grapes on a vine, and then had the perfect attachment for the front-end loader, the hook, in order to actually carry away the bikes on it. Like, there was a lot more than I would have expected here. Like, Jesus Christ, I was half expecting the front-end loader to turn into a goddamn Decepticon committing the crime. This was a shocking revelation. And, of course, the subsequent chase afterwards is where everything went tits up. He clearly only planned the first part and not the second part. I don't know how he thought he could make some kind of inconspicuous getaway with a fucking rogue front-end loader with 2 motorbikes dangling off of it like truck nuts. Like, there was no world where that wouldn't tip off the authorities. And this is not exactly the optimal getaway vehicle. So you can see the vehicle's not really zooming around too quickly and the bikes are banging against each other. I also couldn't help but giggle at the officer telling him to put it down like it's a child who's got a cookie he wasn't supposed to have before eating his vegetables. Like, brother, this man stole a front-end loader. You think he's just going to give up that easily? No. He is committed to this for the long haul.
Guys, run over the bikes. Everybody stay well clear of this tractor.
Oh, he already dropped them, but oh boy. Oh boy. This vehicle's not fast enough for this kind of engagement. And he shed the entire front battering ram. Oh god. I don't know how he gets out of this one. Unless his friend stole a helicopter and then gets like a giant magnet to airlift him out. I don't think there's any way he actually gets out of this situation though. Oh! Oh! He's ripping some gnarly maneuvers. This is a very interesting chase. We left the roads and now we're in God's country. Oh my god. Wait, the officer's on the tracks too. Wait, this officer action here is about it. This man's like, it's finally my chance. I didn't think I'd ever get to do this. We're gonna need a good Samaritan to pull him over and like an equally strong front loader. Fight fire with fire.
In the bush. I've got all his clothing in the creek.
Oh boy. We're on foot now. He's naked.
Hands in the air now! Good boy, mate, good boy!
He tried to throw off the dog's scent by getting nude. But that was a pretty cool chase. That was one of the more interesting ones I've seen in a while. Should have found a skunk and got sprayed. Your brain is huge. That's such a good idea. Yeah, he could have hidden his scent if he had just subjected himself to the skunk smell. But then he still would have needed to find a really good hiding place where they wouldn't find him. Instead of throwing your clothes away, just dress up as a deer. I don't know. If you're going to try and disguise yourself, I think you actually have a better chance of disguising yourself as a cop. Like, imagine he gets out of the front loader, runs into the forest, and he has, like, a cop uniform waiting for him, complete with, like, flashlight and everything, and service pistol, and he's, like, just looking around and just talking with the boys. Like, you'd probably get further with that approach. They finally caught him, but this man was operating on, like, demon mode here. He hatched a nefarious plot with the front-end loader, and he tried to see it through, but he didn't quite have what it takes. I still can't believe that he had the chutzpah to steal a front-end loader, get the proper, like, hook attachment for it, get the ratchet straps, and set up the motorbikes in a way that they can be lifted out with the front-end loader and hook. But he didn't plan the most obvious part, which would be, how the fuck do you get away? He had no plan for that. All he did was start just driving down public roads and then was, like, shocked that the cops somehow got on his tail. I don't understand. And this is, like, as I mentioned in the very beginning, this feels like it's being more common with stealing things like excavators and forklifts and all that to commit wild crime. Like, it feels like it's being more common, but again, this could just be an example of the frequency illusion. I'm not sure yet. But anyway, it's always wild when that happens. Jinkies. It is always such an adventure to watch that. But anyway, yeah, that's really about it. See ya. Okay, that's probably the guy. That guy's kind of zooming. Is it muted? No, they just haven't done their live sports casting of the police chase yet. This guy is really punching it.
Welcome, everybody, as you join us live on ABC7.com and our ABC7 streaming apps. Chris Christie up in Air 7 HD as we
I love how he introduces it like an actual event.
Through South LA. Now, this person has crisscrossed a number
Hey, welcome
of
to the Moist Esports broadcast of this live police chase.
Area after a home invasion in an industrial area here in Hawthorne. Coming up on Hawthorne Airport.
Oh,
again, still
I thought it was the other car.
Pushing the pedal to
there
the
he
metal,
is.
about double the speed limit as he makes his way down Crenshaw Boulevard minutes ago. So again, a car.
Oh
tapping,
boy!
front bumper there with that SUV.
Uh-oh.
At a high
little
rate of
love
speed.
tap on
Now
the way
coming
by.
up on a little bit of traffic now on Crenshaw Boulevard at 131st. Very aggressive.
This guy's gonna do a citizen's arrest on him now. We need to exchange information, asshole.
Like that car that he hit is trying to catch up with him. Another red light coming up here. All 3 lanes occupied. Let's see if he squeezes
He's going
by
on the
here
sidewalk.
or jumps the curb. Right now he is in that right lane. It's the black Audi that you see right there.
Oh,
with
maybe
his
not.
brakes starting to smoke a bit. Cutting off with the
God.
Mercedes, tapping the bumper there, and another collision.
This guy's
Here
just
comes
running
some more
around,
black and
just
whites.
giving little
More
taps,
black
little
and
paint
whites entering the
exchange.
pursuit now, engaging with the suspect. Officers behind him. Again, a helicopter above. 2 black and whites behind him.
Holy shit.
A pursuit that has crossed over the county line on several freeways.
This
at
guy's
extreme
burning
speeds, and those
rubber
extreme
out
speeds
here.
Are continuing this through. I forget. I did not catch that that cross street in any event. Where westbound.
First
on
LA driver to
Rosecrans
use blinkers.
At it looks like LA County Sheriff still with their helicopter overhead calling out the shots for those units on the ground. And now
Why
we
even
have
evade?
some
There's no way
units,
out.
Code 3
I don't
right
know.
behind them. They've
I
managed
really
to
don't
catch
know.
up with them once again.
Very
as he
rarely
gets
can you
under the
escape the
110
chopper.
freeway. He's getting onto the
And you have to
110
be very lucky.
off of Rosecrans.
It's fucking dumb to even try. What makes people think they can outrun the helicopters? Drugs, stupidity, desperation. I don't know, man. Maybe a cocktail of all three.
A little bit of a jam up there, and now he's got all 4 lanes to
This
play
guy
with
should be arrested, to
as
be
he comes
honest.
up on the 105
You don't
freeway.
say. The guy who broke into a home and then stole a
exiting,
car during the
getting up
initial
the 105.
chase and is now engaged in this chase should be arrested.
105
Brother, you
west.
keep those hot takes to yourself, okay? I don't want to hear them.
Same area already a couple of times.
He
Now
was
back on
clearly
the westbound side at
framed.
90 miles per hour, heading back towards the west.
It's a self-driving Audi. There's a ghost in the machine, and this
Another
guy is
exit
a
here.
helpless victim.
A wild left there through the
Ooh,
red.
almost threw the
Northbound
ass out of it.
Avalon Boulevard, now going northbound, just kind of making this up as he goes along. No clear destination here. He's obviously just doing whatever he can to lose these units and potentially find a hiding spot.
Oh, yeah,
to
he's going
evade
to try
those
and hide under the
helicopters.
bridge
In
here.
fact, now he's
100%.
underneath the freeway. He's not coming out. He's not coming out. He's not coming out. He's under the freeway. He's under the freeway, probably dumping the vehicle. He's under the
Yep.
freeway, has not come
Oh,
out
the cops
other
actually got
side.
there pretty
You see
quick.
a unit following him underneath.
Yeah, oh,
and
wow.
There he is. There he is.
Where'd this guy
He's
come
back
from?
on the
Who's
other
behind the
side,
wheel there?
northbound
Is
side.
that Dominic Toretto? Like, Jesus
105
Christ, that
freeway.
cop actually got there quick.
Now on 116th with the sheriff's unit right behind him.
He was absolutely about
We've
to
got
dump
3
that
units,
car.
a primary unit and a
But
secondary
that cop
unit right underneath
rolled
the
in.
freeway
He
with
fucking
them,
scooted
making
in
another turn here.
sideways. It's a new car. I don't think it is, man.
Close call here. Look at this cross traffic coming up on
I
Central
don't think he had
Avenue.
time.
Continuing a northbound turn onto Central.
He entered with an Audi. I don't think he pulled some kind of crazy magic trick here and got a new car. Like, that's not, unless it was a Kia that he stole. He doesn't have
Close call
nearly
here.
enough
Look at
time
this
to do
cross
that.
traffic coming up on Central Avenue.
Kia is just
continuing.
You hop in and it'll just
northbound
take you on a
turn,
ride
northbound turn
itself.
onto Central.
Apparently, there's like no security on that shit. I guess.
Again, heading back towards the freeway and taking the freeway. If he stays on the freeway, I would
God damn it!
expect
Now I'm too drawn into this. Here, let's pay attention to the trim here. I'm very confident this is the same car. Let's go back to one of their other close-ups. That would have been a speedrun record of carjacking if he somehow pulled that off. Where's another close-up? I mean, I don't even need another close-up. You can still see the trim even on this.
some point, but he has put a kink in those plans. As
Yeah, I mean, it's just definitely the same car. Then they got the original call wrong. This
that's
is
a
100%.
different car.
No shot. It's not.
Did he carjack somebody else under the freeway?
There's no shot. It's the same car.
Right. This is a different car. This is a different car.
Then he stole the exact same model. He had a
He
clone
must have
waiting
done
under
that
the bridge.
the freeway. That's the only time.
The other car also had a sunroof. It had silver trim. It had silver rims. Same car. What? That makes no sense.
Positive that was an Audi before.
Even they're second guessing it as well.
Northbound Alameda.
He was literally under the bridge for 15 seconds.
Now coming towards him.
You can't hotwire
making
a
the
modern
U-turn
car
going
like
back,
that quickly. There'd be a
back under
victim
the
of a
freeway,
carjacking.
under
It'd
the
be easy to
105.
confirm. The only way he'd get this car is if he literally threw someone out of it and took it. And in that case, you have a victim there who would easily be able to tell you, yeah, my fucking car just got stolen. There's no shot. You cannot steal a car that quickly. From the article online. Here. How is there already an article? This was 3 minutes ago. Authorities were chasing a black Audi, but once the car got under an overpass, the suspect hopped in a Mercedes-Benz and continued fleeing. It's unclear if there was another carjacking or if their driver was waiting for a Mercedes. How would that be unclear? If it was a carjacking, there'd be a victim. Like, I don't think anyone just parked under the overpass.
I just heard female driver. Am I the only one that heard that? Female driver? Is that even possible? Vehicle coming to a stop. Vehicle coming to a stop. 1, 2, 3,
Oh,
4
holy
suspects.
shit.
We're
What
going to follow
the
the
fuck?
driver. 4 suspects running from that vehicle.
This makes it even less likely they got into another fucking car. How is that
Now
possible?
coming to a foot pursuit.
You had 9 fucking people in that car all of a sudden, like a clown car getting out?
LA County Sheriff's units with 2 of those suspects
In
up against
15
the wall.
seconds?
A foot pursuit now with the driver and another passenger. 4 people total in that vehicle. 4 people total. And now one of the
How?
drivers.
I don't understand at all how this
at gunpoint.
actually
That is the driver
worked.
at gunpoint. We're going to come around here. That Mercedes is a separate vehicle from the one we joined you with up at the top of our coverage. That was an Audi.
I can't
At
process
some point,
how the fuck
the
this worked
driver of
out.
that Audi made his way into a Mercedes with 4 other people who have now jumped out near
The
Firestone.
only way this tracks is during the chase, he called his friends and said, I need an out. So they met him under the overpass, but then they all drove together, so those fucking morons all just got themselves arrested. That's the only way this would possibly make sense, and it's the dumbest plan imaginable. That is actually the stupidest idea you could have ever had. Now they all get arrested. Because he was 100% alone in the beginning. You could see in the fucking front windshield. Holy shit. That is incomprehensibly stupid. That is painfully dumb. Here's the resub pog.
And Manchester, a lot of puzzle pieces.
This is like actually a
here,
whole magical performance
but
in and of itself.
wild chase. A lot of blanks to fill.
Even if this worked out in their fucking favor, like even if they actually did make the car swap, they chose an almost identical car that the helicopter was still going to follow regardless. Holy shit, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. They chose an identical vehicle, so the chase would have continued as planned. These are actually probably the dumbest criminals I think I've ever fucking watched. Well, aside from the guy who got himself arrested because he was wanted for murder and then called the police on McDonald's because they served him cold fries and he ended up going to jail for like 6 years. But like aside from that guy, these guys are up there. What do you mean, what? You guys don't remember that? We talked about that like 6 months ago. There was a criminal who was on the run for a while, and then he went to McDonald's and he was really upset that he got served cold fries, so he called the police on McDonald's and they obviously pulled his record. He had a warrant out for his arrest for like a big crime and he got arrested for it. He literally self-reported because he got cold fries. Are we just ignoring the announcer when he said female driver? Is that even possible? Oh yeah, that was a really unfortunate thing he said. The reason he said that is because the suspect was a male, and you could see. Plus, the home invasion was committed by a guy, I believe. So I'm saying, a female driver, how is that possible? Because it was a guy that was on the chase the entire time. But the way it comes out makes it like seem like he's baffled a woman would be driving. So very unlucky for him, but what he meant is entirely normal. Like, how could it have gone from the male suspect who committed the crimes to now a female driver of the car?
I just heard female driver. Am I the only one that heard that? Female driver? Is that even possible?
He also does himself no favors with the way he says it, to be fair. Like, I can already see, like, the way he did it. He's got his headset on. He's, like, looking around. Women driving. Have we ever heard of this? But yeah, what he was referring to was the crime, and the pursuit all the way up until that point was a guy, and one guy. No doubt he swapped. Well, at the very end, it's very clear they had to have swapped, because this is a lone driver. Like, throughout the entire chase, you can see in here, it is one guy. Which means that the people he swapped with literally came 3 heads deep, and then they all got arrested together for the swap. So, 100%. Like, they did swap. I just can't believe that the car they chose to swap with was not only identical, but they all stayed in the car, too.
He's
Here it is, let's time it.
Just doing whatever he can to lose these
You can see him
units
stopping here,
and
slowing down.
find a hiding spot
21
to
minutes
evade
on the
those
dot.
helicopters. In fact, now he's underneath the freeway. He's not coming out. He's not coming out. He's not coming out. He's under the freeway. He's under the freeway, probably dumping a vehicle. He's under
And
the
here's
freeway.
the cop.
Has not come out the
13
other side.
seconds.
You see a unit following him underneath.
13
And
seconds.
There he is. He's back on the other side, northbound side of the 105 freeway. He's under the freeway, has not come out the
Sneaky
other
plan.
side. You
It's
see
a
unit
stupid
following him
plan.
under-
Because even if the cop didn't show up so quickly, the helicopter immediately followed this car because it's almost identical to the car that goes in. So they still would have stayed pursuing them. It's a terrible plan. If they had chose a different car entirely, then yes. Then the plan would have been far more effective. What's the purpose of switching? At this point, nothing. Literally nothing. All that happened was he got more of his friends arrested because they stayed in the car for some reason. The cop also saw the swap. True, the cop was so quick that he actually did get to witness the swap, but the helicopter didn't. And the helicopter immediately picked up on the same car because it's so identical. They didn't even know it was swapped. Suspect was an Uber driver and picked up his 3 riders. Interesting fan theory. Hey, guess who's got COVID again? This is number 4. I'm like Patrick Mahomes, but instead of 4 Super Bowl appearances, I've got 4 COVIDs under my belt. Yeehaw. So, I've been spending the last day or so watching Warhammer 40k lore videos. I've even purchased quite a few minis. I've been looking around online for like professional painters and sculptors for even more. I'm deep. And this morning, I was perusing 40k content again, but I actually got recommended a video that had nothing to do with 40k. It was news coverage of some asshole rolling up in his truck and stealing some kid's entire lemonade stand. And it turns out, this isn't the only time it's happened. There's actually been 2 cases of this in the last month, though the previous one was stealing the money from a lemonade stand in front of the kids. This guy just came up and stole the entire kit and caboodle here.
This boy is heartbroken. He can't believe what just happened. Someone has taken his lemonade stand. The youngster has been selling lemonade for more than a year at an intersection near his home outside San Diego.
That kid is grinding, selling lemonade for a year. He's got himself a full-time job after school. Multiplication tables in the morning, business in the afternoon. Like, I remember when lemonade stands were popular when I was growing up, you do it for like a summer, maybe at most. That's very impressive from this kid here. His lemonade stand has lasted significantly longer than Concord.
It happened when Liam walked away from the lemonade stand for just a few minutes to get cups. That's when a gray pickup truck drives by, reverses, and heads back to the lemonade stand. First, the table goes into the back of the pickup. The driver throws away Liam's sign and then loads in the chairs. Just as he drives off, Liam returns and sees his lemonade stand disappearing into the distance.
I don't think even the Grinch would stoop this low. There is no way this degenerate asshole didn't know that that belonged to somebody else. There is a sign there, presumably about the lemonade on the, at the stand. And he picks up the sign and throws it to the side before putting in the chair and table. He knew, he just didn't care. He was in such desperate need of a plastic table and plastic chairs, he was fucking frothing at the mouth just seeing his opportunity to steal it. I'm willing to bet this guy didn't actually care about the table or chairs. He just did this because he had an opportunity to do it. So he did it for the love of the sport and the thrill of just stealing someone's shit. Like, he's gonna go home, he's gonna jerk off to an old Sears catalog, and he's gonna pass out, and he's not even going to do anything with that chair or table. I already know that.
You can hear his plaintive wail. Liam's mom, Carrie, and dad, Leonard, say there could be an innocent explanation.
My initial thought was, maybe he thought it was free because a lot of people, they leave things up by the road. I was hoping it was a misunderstanding.
I think it's very wholesome that she'd have this perspective of trying to immediately give someone the benefit of the doubt and seeing the good in someone, like, oh, this could all just be a misunderstanding. Sometimes people leave like furniture on the side of the road that's just up for grabs. Maybe that's what he thought here. But that fails to take into account the sign that he picks up, looks at, and then throws to the side before putting the shit in his truck and driving off. I don't think this is a case of confusion where he just thought, someone was playing Sims and left some furniture out and about that he could pick up and take home without issue. There was a sign there. There was a sign that this guy, maybe he's illiterate, maybe he couldn't read. That's very possible by taking just one glance at that guy. But even still, there is a sign there. And he looked at it and threw it to the side before putting it in there. Now, I'm no crack shot detective here. I wouldn't exactly be the one to, solve the Jack the Ripper mystery or anything. But looking at all the clues here, when he looked at that sign, he then looked around to see if anyone was nearby watching him. That's something that someone who knows they're up to no good does, checking to make sure the coast is clear before loading up his truck with these items. I think he did this knowing full well it belonged to somebody, and he just didn't have anyone around to tell him no or stop him, so he went hog wild with it. Because he's a piece of shit.
The incident has echoes of that case in Virginia where a driver swiped the money jar from kids selling lemonade right in front of their house. Now this.
This episode had a crazy cliffhanger where it revealed this isn't the only lemonade theft in the last month. So I had to learn more about this guy who just ran up and took the money jar from some kids in their lemonade stand. That is also unhinged behavior.
Follow up now on a story that's been trending all day about the man who stole from 2 kids running a lemonade stand in Chesapeake. The video is leaving a sour taste in people's mouths. This guy, smiling as he approaches a kid's lemonade stand, snatches the money jar and takes off.
Like taking candy from a baby. He makes it look easy. This is an Ocean's 11 style operation executed to perfection by this man. Rolls up, parks, gets out, acts friendly for like 2 seconds, and then takes the money from the kids before waddling back to his car. Gone in 30 seconds. You never even knew he was there. What a degenerate scumbag. So in total, he made off with 40 doubloons. He stole $40 from these kids who were selling lemonade, and I already know that was the most exciting thing that's ever happened in his life. This does not seem to be a desperate person. Like, this is just someone who stole for the sake of stealing.
Here's the surveillance video. The car slowly approaches, and the man comes out of the car. Rebecca, who's 10, told me she started to pour him lemonade, and he quickly grabs a jar with their money and takes off.
We already got $40. It was seeming pretty good. And then the guy came. He acted really nice.
I wonder how long he planned this out for, or if it was just something that he just decided in the moment. I bet this dude marinated on this idea for days, like, those kids are selling lemonade. I could probably steal from them. I must plan it out thoroughly, though. So anyway, he rolls up, he pretends to be nice for a couple of seconds, the kids start pouring him lemonade, and he steals the money, and then, I don't know, like, pencil dives his way back to his car. I don't know, like, he's clearly not an athlete. His hands are like stiffly by his side as he walks back to the car, and then he fucking spins those tires. Like, he hits that gas, he throws that bitch into fucking 4th gear, and he takes off. Like, he probably thought he was in an action movie with all of that excitement that he was feeling from that heist. That probably engaged the nitrous oxide boosters as well to escape the cops. Think he got a 5-star wanted level from it all. Interestingly enough, the guy in the video actually confessed to officers that he was the one behind the theft. It was a 19-year-old, which really surprised me because the guy in the video looked to be pushing 40. I definitely thought it was a guy on the older side of things, but it has been positively identified as a 19-year-old named Esteban, and he's facing misdemeanor charge for it. And the happy ending continues because the 2 kids ended up getting like $6,000 from community support because they felt so bad that these kids just got like blatantly robbed in front of their face. So the community came together and they gave them like a lot of money because they were saving up for some items that they really wanted, which is super wholesome to see a community come together to support like this. I think that's great, and I'm sure it meant a lot to the kids. The guy turning himself in, I think, is also a great thing as well. So yeah, overall, the story has a happy ending. The first one, though, with the guy just stealing the entire lemonade stand, he's still at large, so, you know, be careful if you got lemonade stands out in public. This guy might just swoop through and snatch them all up. But yeah, at least this one had a nice resolution. I'm just surprised at how common lemonade stand related crimes appear to be. That's really about it. So yeah,